Hey everyone, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. I've been wanting to film this little video for, well, since I started the channel to be honest, but for a lot of different reasons I haven't done, the main one being health, but I really wanted to do this little introduction kind of, even though I've got a few videos up, and an explanation to why I actually started the channel. So if you want to know more about that, then keep watching. So thank you for joining me. First of all, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Kayleigh Kavanagh, just letting you know how that's pronounced because a lot of people pronounce it the Irish way. And I've been making jewellery for 4.5, almost 5 years. Although I did actually start when I was 14, I stopped for a long time. And the reason why I came back to jewellery making was because of my health. I have severe ME and fibromyalgia. ME is sometimes referred to as chronic fatigue syndrome, but I kind of have a huge distaste for that name, so I call it ME. So what happened basically is that I got the illness from getting swine flu when I was 18, but I didn't actually become severe until I was 21, 3 years later, pretty much to the month. And then my health declined dramatically very quickly, so I actually ended up completely bed bound, wheelchair bound, and I'm still at that point now, but as I'll tell you in a moment, I have had some slight improvements which I'm very proud and happy about. So from being 21 to now I'm 26, 5 years, that's been my life basically. And where jewellery making comes into this is that when I was bedbound and unable to move, and I'd gone from being really active and having a lot of goals and a lot of passion for life to suddenly being unable to do the basic things, you know, lift a cup to your mouth. Most days I couldn't chew, you know, talking like this now, which you take for granted, just being able to speak. I couldn't do that, you know, there was hours and hours and days where I was to the point of catatonia. I couldn't do anything, and it was horrific, to be honest. And it really affected me as an individual to go from someone who was so highly driven to being unable to do anything. And I wanted to do something I could do in bed, so I had to think about things that were a little different. And I thought about crafting. Obviously a lot of people love crafting, and I thought it was something that I could consider doing. Now when I was 14 years old, I'd actually worked on a jewellery stall in the weekends, and I remember we fixed a couple of pieces. It was never really anything too in-depth, but I remember I really enjoyed it, and I liked, well, jewellery, I like pretty things. So I thought, you know, I'll give that a go. I went onto eBay, bought a cheap little set, and you know, rubbish beads and terrible findings, and a very cheap plier tool set, and I didn't even use it at first. I bought it and it just stayed in the packaging because I didn't even know what to do with it, but I had it, and I thought, you know, when eventually I can, I'll do it. Fast forward some length of time, I couldn't even tell you how long it was. I was skipping channel flicking and I came across on Freeview, there's a TV show called Jewellery Maker, and I think it's still sometimes on Freeview, I'm not sure about that anymore, but I started watching that and learning that way, and then I started watching YouTube videos, and that's kind of how I slowly began to learn again. I mean, some of the stuff I already knew from being younger but I'd forgotten, so that was sort of how I got into jewellery making, and the different mediums and learning. But the reason why I'm doing this now, which is the point of the channel I suppose, comes back to the health. Because I was bedbound, because I was unable to move, even this now, I'm sat up and I'm talking to you, this is huge for me to be at this point, and I will mention why in a little bit, but to be at this point for me is huge improvement. When I couldn't even sit up on my own, I had to have, you know, all these pillars supporting me, and don't get me wrong, I still have days like that now, which is why it's taken so long to film this, but to have a day like this right now is amazing. So I really wanted to do this today, to say hello, this is me, this is my story, and this is why this channel exists. So I was bedbound, and again I'd gone from being a high achiever who took great pride in a lot of things to having nothing, and that's where jewellery making came in for me. I was able to make something. I could pick it up and put it down, no matter how exhausted I was, how much pain I was in, no matter what was going on with me and my illness, I could make jewellery. And that gave me that sense of achievement and pride that I'd lost. And it was something that it lit a fire in me again. It made me feel hopeful again. It was a little ray of hope that I could still do something, I could still achieve something. And despite everything else that was going on within me and around me, that was something that I could do for me. And it was the best feeling. And that's why I wanted to do this channel, because I want to say to other people, if you have a chronic illness, or whether you just, you're at home and you're bored, you don't know what you're doing with your life, whatever's going on with you, jewellery making is something that, for me, ignited passion in me again. And it might not do that for you. It might just be something that you pick up and put down and just have a little bit of a play with. But if you are someone who has turned away from jewellery making because you think you can't do it, you can. And I'm trying to teach people in easy and simple steps that anyone can do this, and that it can change you. I mean, it has done me, and it's given me hope for the future again in a way that had been stolen from me. So that was kind of the reason why I decided to do the channel, and I kind of wanted to tell you what the channel's about, really. So obviously it's about jewellery making, as I put in my name, Kayleigh Kavanagh Jewellery, and I've used the British spelling because I am British, but I also will often write the American one for people searching from across the world, obviously. So the idea, I'm doing mainly wire work at the moment, and there is a reason behind that. It actually turned out to be the easiest medium for me with my dexterity issues and my brain fog and my chronic pain. Now, I know it sounds like, how is that even possible? But I tried loads of different techniques and I love them, I do, but so many of them cause me pain. So when I was doing, say, macrame and I was doing shorter lengths, it was actually easy and simple. But when I was trying to do longer lengths, to say do a necklace, because I was having to use my shoulders as well and I had a lot of shoulder pain, I had to stop doing that. Polymer clay, it took a lot of, you have to do this a lot with your hands and soften the clay, and I enjoyed it, and then I'd having to bake it, someone would have to do it for me. It was a bit of a pain. So wire work ended up being the easiest for me in that there's a lot of tools available to help you if you have dexterity issues, or if you're just new to it and you're not quite sure what to do. I do mention them in other videos. I know there's a 12 tips for wire working where I mention about masking tape and a clamp, that's one of them, wire straightening tools, and past that it's just practicing. And I always talk about the gauges that I use that are easier for me, so I don't have to fight the wire. I always talk about having a bit more wire than I need so that it's got leverage against it. So that's kind of what I intend on doing on the channel. I do want to expand into other mediums and teach you those eventually, but I think that will probably come as my health hopefully continues to improve. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that next, so keep watching. So I'm actually going to link the book that I'm going to discuss now below in the description box. Please go and have a look, and please, if you can, have a read. It's a really great book. It's called The Diagnosis and Treatment of Chronic Fatigue Syndrome / myalgic encephalomyelitis. It's mitochondria, not hypochondria. The reason why I'm mentioning this is, as I've said earlier on in the video, I've been bedbound for the past 5 and a bit years, nearly coming up on 6 actually. What was it? Oh, sorry, brain fog. I think it's 5 and a bit. Anyway, so I've been bedbound for a long time, and I came across this book, and I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. I'd read other stuff, but they all kept coming back to do exercise and think it away, and if it was that simple, trust me, I'd have done that day one. It doesn't work, it makes your illness worse, and there's biomedical proof proving that. But anyway, I won't get into the politics of that. I will just say that this book was amazing, and about 6 months ago. 6 months, it's in a couple of weeks, it'll be 6 months to the day, so probably about the time I'll upload this video. I started reading it, and it said if you have the illness, rather than go through the whole sciencey bit, skip to this particular page and read what you can do. So being so bad with brain fog, obviously that's immediately what I did. I was just like, let's find out what's important for me. And it talks about what actually happens in the body when we go through the boom and bust process, which is where we have fluctuations of energy and then we crash. It talks about what you need to do, and one thing it does talk about was diets and supplements, and that's what's got me to where I am right now. I went on to what is a mix of keto and paleo, and those, it's called Banting, this particular diet, which is about healing the gut lining, which, if you know anything about the gut-brain connection, the science behind that is that the bacteria in your gut is going into your brain and causing all these different problems. A lot of people, if you have IBS and other stuff like that, you should look into it as well, because those are contributing factors to your conditions as well. So even if you're healthy in most ways, you have that, it's something that you likely will have going on in your stomach. So I started this diet, and it was tough. I had to go through carb flu, and that was not no, I did not enjoy that. Already being severely ill and then having carb flu on top, no, not fun. But it was worth it, I have to say. I've lost over 3 stone, which is partly why I also feel confident enough to do this video right now. Yeah, I'm still overweight, and yeah, I still have acne and all this sort of stuff, but 3 stone is 3 stone, you know. So for me that's amazing. When I just kept putting on weight and I had no idea why, and the doctors were just like, oh, it's probably that everyone puts on weight in winter, but I was going up a stone every single winter for no reason, even though my diet wasn't changing. And that was after the several stone that came on when I went from moderate to severe. I just kept gaining more and more weight, and it was horrible, because you know, as a person, you don't like that. You don't like feeling so much bigger. So to have lost 3 stone in itself for me has been a huge achievement. So that's kind of why I feel a little bit more confident about sitting in front of a camera right now, because 6 months ago I would not have done this ever. Even if I had the health, I wouldn't have done it. And then I've seen increases in my energy, in that I'm sat here and I'm talking to you right now. I put makeup on. I haven't put makeup on properly for years, and yeah, it's probably not great, but for me that's huge. I've been able to put makeup on, I'm sat up and I'm talking. For me that's just a world away from what I was. Yes, I'm still in the severe category. Yes, I still have days that aren't great, and I am still bedbound most of the time, but within what I have, I've seen huge improvements, to the point where I'm getting that fire back even more. I'm making more jewellery and I'm making more videos, and it makes me want to share it even more with you guys. It makes me want to reach out to more people and be like, come on, come and join me, come and do this. You know, I think jewellery making is just fun, and in a world that isn't always very light, we need that fun. We need something that makes us feel good, that gives us that sense of achievement, and that can, you know, it's pretty. Who doesn't like pretty? Who doesn't want something pretty that they've made that they can feel good about? They can give them to their friends and their family and loved ones. You know, so you get to share that even further. You know, you're giving love to people, and every single piece you make you get to put a little bit of love into. And I adore that, and I adore everything about jewellery making, to be honest. And I want people to not only be able to learn it, but to learn to love it. So that's kind of why I decided to do this channel. Sorry that it took me so long to actually do this video, but there's been good reasons. And from this point forward, I really want to try and upload 3 videos a week. Now, I can't guarantee it, because like I say, I do still have an illness. And even with the dramatic changes that I've seen, I'm not healed by any way, shape or form. On the scale of the ME scale, I'm still 20% max. You know, that's 80% lost, still not there, but huge improvements for me. So I just wanted to mention that. So that's something I'm going to try and do, and something I want to do. Another thing which I'm starting soon is I'm starting to do reviews, because I I think people, particularly when they're new to jewellery making, they're not quite sure what stockists to use, what tutorials to look at, what tools to get, what beads are good, what aren't, you know, and you could end up spending a lot of money. And fair enough if you're just having a play, but you know, if you spend £10 on something and it's not great, whereas you could spend that same £10 on something that is, all you'd have to do is watch a video I've done, then you can save yourself the bad money and go straight to the good. So that's something I want to do, and I'm going to ask that you comment below in the description box. Let me know what you want to have reviewed. I've got a couple of tutorials. I've asked permission of the people if they'll let me review them, and they've said yes. So I'm going to be reviewing some paper tutorials, well, they're digital downloads but paper tutorials. And then, you know, if you want, I don't know, certain wires reviewed from different stockists, if you want gemstone beads, or, you know, if they're good enough quality, let me know. I will do it, I'll look into it, and I'll happily, you know, let you know my honest opinion, because I can't lie, I'm a terrible liar. So if you let me know in the description box below. Also, what I'd also ask is if you could give a thumbs up to this video, subscribe, because, you know, and also if you know anyone who does have a chronic illness, and, you know, they will, even if they're putting a smile and a brave face on it, they're going to be struggling in some way. So send them my way, let them know, just, you know, share it, just say, hey, this person, Kayleigh, on YouTube, she's doing this, come and have a look. Because I'd love to meet other people. Tell me about you, tell me about your life, tell me about what you're going through right now. Yeah, so that's it, and I look forward to creating more videos for you all and hopefully connecting with you all. So that's it for today, and much love. Bye.